I am Safar Tabari. I teach GCSE English at Activate Learning. I've been working for Activate Learning for the past 16 years. I'm also the course leader for Functional Skills English for Reading College. Learning philosophy is important because we need to incorporate all components of learning philosophy into our teaching and learning. In particular, so we need to be aware of those important parts: brain, motivation, and emotions. And so when we incorporate all these elements into our teaching, that makes a massive change in our day-to-day practice. I utilize learning philosophy effectively in my normal day-to-day teaching and learning. To this end, I'm using starter activities wisely. For starter activities, I'm using a wide range of quizzes, puzzles, as a starter activity to make sure that my students are ready for learning. And I always link my teaching materials with the materials that was learned in the past, in the previous lesson, making sure that there's a link between lessons. The activities that I provide to my students are well embedded, making sure that the needs of my learners are taken into account. For more advanced students, I prepare advanced challenged activities, whereas for less able students, I put smaller activities, but making sure that they answer questions, and I do provide them with support and praise. One of the most important parts of learning philosophy is making sure that students are ready, engaged. To this end, using starter activities, in particular, in my case, I'm using lateral ability quizzes and puzzles. Those are really important ones because we need to make sure that students are ready for learning. And that's all the questions that are linked with the previous lessons and the questions that we will be covering for GCSE English in future, they're linked into smaller activities, making sure that students are easily engaged. And it's important for the teaching staff also to make sure that, apart from taking into account the students' learning needs, actual timely feedback is provided, and most importantly, our students should be encouraged and praised. This is what I'm doing on my day-to-day teaching. I've been working for Activate Learning for the past 16 years. Since learning philosophy was introduced, I can see massive improvement in our students' behavior, attitude. I can see students wearing their lanyards, showing respect to the teaching and other stuff. And I can also see students being empowered. They're taking responsibility for their learning, for their actions. And this makes Activate Learning stands out because so students coming to Reading College, they feel safe. The teaching staff, other support staff pay massive attention to their well-being. And we just link all these into our day-to-day teaching and learning, making sure the students enjoy, they're safe, and a safe and suitable learning environment is created for our learners. Prepare a wide range of activities, making sure the students are engaged, because sometimes they come in unprepared. They say, "Look, sir, I've just woken up. It's 11 o'clock. Matthew, 11 o'clock, you've just woken up. Have you had your breakfast?" No. And that's why, so if we just give them a challenging activity immediately, do this, stand there, they won't be they won't be doing it. But whereas if you talk to them nicely, explaining that, look, it's 11 o'clock, you should have woken up earlier, you should have had your breakfast, making sure that you arrive on time. Have you got a pen? Here is a pen. So we take into account learners' needs and create a safe learning environment for them.